Hi, friends. Welcome to this week's episode of the So podcast with me, the native son. Today, Sewa is in studio, but then you won't be seeing her on your screen. I have taken over as your favorite host, whether I like it or yes. So, how has your week been? How are you doing? I know there's a rhetorical question. I mean, you can't talk back to me, but then, however life is treating you, I want you to take So, in this week's episode, as you've already seen, we are going to talk about agriculture and the youth. That is you and me. So, I'm joined in studio by a very important person. He goes by the name Emmanuel Asare Tieku, and then he is the executive director for Cornfields Green Ghana Limited. So, Mr. Asare,
Yes, boss.
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you here.
Yeah.
I know how busy your schedule is, but then you've taken time to join us here, and then we appreciate that.
Yeah, pleasure so much.
So we'll just zoom into the conversation because we wouldn't want you to, we wouldn't want to keep you in our studio. So, as a young individual, I mean, when we talk about farming, we mostly think about the conventional way. I grew up as a farmer's boy, so I mean, we go to the farm most of the time, the conventional way. I mean, you follow your father and then your mother, like every Saturday or when there is the time to go to the farm and then you help them with farm work. But then your kind of farming is different.
Right.
Yeah. So as you already said, you're a corporate farmer.
Yeah.
So take us through your journey. How did it start for you? Was it something that you've always wanted to do?
No, I don't think it was something I always wanted to do. Funny enough, my dad owned a garden when we were growing up, and I didn't like going to the farm. But coming into the university, I studied climate physics.
Oh.
Yeah, and my undergrad thesis, I was looking at how climate variability affected crop yield. So I was looking at it from a physicist's point of view, just building models that local farmers could use to improve their productivity.
Okay.
But the interest just started developing, especially when COVID hit and issues of food security and all that. So, I mean, we started thinking about this company or projects in January 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, just before the lockdown. And so we did most of the planning during the lockdown period. And when the ban was lifted,
planning
we were on the field
and plotting.
working. Yeah, Charlie. When the ban was lifted, we were on the field working, and that's how we started. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Wow. Where was I during the pandemic? I should have been thinking of all this because we're all locked down and then we couldn't really go anywhere. Yeah. So I could have also been thinking about it. But anyways, I'm glad that you have decided to, grow sustainable foods to help us, because I'm not saying it should, but then if any pandemic should hit the world right now, how secure are we? Like the whole world, we're not secured, right?
Not at all.
So I think I read something somewhere. I think SDK tweeted that you should support farmers because food will never disappoint you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Food will never disappoint you. And then whatever you're going through, you have to eat first. Yeah. And then food is one thing that we all need, whether we like it or yes.
Very sure.
Yeah. So since you started, I mean, how has the journey been like? Is it easy, like how we envision it? I mean, to own a garden is different, and then to, take a lot of acres of land to, grow crops and then take them through processes, exporting or selling it to people. I mean, take us through how is it like?
For us, it's not been easy. And starting out, we were a bit bold and quite audacious.
I mean, it takes boldness to do what you are doing right now because...
So, I mean, I was just from the university. I was barely done with my national service when we started. And we started with 50 acres.
Oh, you didn't start with your national service allowance?
Oh, we top off small.
Yeah. So hey, now.
We started with 50 acres. Currently... our total land mass is...
No, you say you started with 50 acres?
50 acres, yeah.
Wow.
50.
I don't even know what that amount of land looks like, but then it looks huge.
It looks huge. But currently, our lands sum up to 14,000 acres. And for this year, we are doing 2,200. That's how much we've been able to develop so far.
Off
And that's what
record.
we're doing.
Off record. Are you not looking for people to work on your farm?
We can talk about it. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's not been easy, especially trying to find funding. When we started out, it was a bit difficult. We had to use our own savings. We had to speak to friends, convince people to literally put their money in. I mean, when you need money, that's when you know if people are really your friends.
Exactly.
But it was quite tough.
Actually, people when you play around people's money, they are.
It was quite tough. But I mean, we don't have a lot of institutions here that understand agric, that are able to even give us the necessary support that we need. And so it was a struggle, but we found means and ways of going through. I think it was sheer determination. Yeah.
I was going to come to that. You mentioned that we don't have institutions here in Ghana. I was going to ask if the government has like maybe institutions or infrastructure to help young entrepreneurs or young startup farmers with maybe something like fertilizers. I mean, seeds,
Yeah.
and then like land even.
Yeah, I think agric has not really been structured in this part of our world. And mind you, it's very expensive. I wouldn't even lie about it. I didn't know it was that expensive. I got in. Agric is so expensive. We've had some government interventions trying to be able to solve mostly targeted smallholder farmers, right? Input support, subsidy and all that, which, did something, but to a large extent, there was more to be done. I know currently the current PFJ program has been revised, that is looking at now commercial farming and all that. So yes, the government is trying to do certain things to be able to support people who want to go into farming. And we have other INGOs, groups in the country that are also having some programs that are able to support young people with capacity building. Some of them would be able to give you some small.
Even with that,
fuel.
it's still not.
Yeah, it's not.
It doesn't amount to anything.
Yeah.
So if right now I'm inspired and then I want to start up something, I want to start my own farm. That means,
so I think a strategy we used that helped us was the whole concept of collaboration. And so sometimes on your own, you might not be able to do much, but you can come together with a group of friends and decide to set up a company, right? You can raise, say, some 10,000 here, another person raise some 5,000 here.
10,000.
Yeah. You put your resources together, you would be able to do something meaningful. And as I mentioned, we don't have our institutions really understanding how this whole agric thing really works, or they will just term us as very, very risky. And so sometimes you may have to start on your own to have a proof of concept, which is not easy. But if you're able to pull through and have results for what you're doing, it might shock you the kind of support that you can get. Yeah.
Okay. If I pick from your company's name, that's Cornfields Green Ghana Limited. What apart from corn do you grow? You grow corn, right?
Yes.
Because that's, I know, the base crop that you started
Precisely,
with.
yes.
But then over the years, I've seen that you've evolved into other dimensions where you are doing a lot of things at the moment. So what do you grow, and then who do you grow these kind of foods for?
Yeah, so mainly we do corn, and for us the target was the poultry industry. Poultry feed constitutes about 60% maize. 60% maize. And we've seen how egg prices have actually increased.
Oh, so you're not farming for us? After I hit the gym and then I want some cocoa and then some kinky to eat.
So we can't serve the whole market. The market for corn is large, but we decided to focus on the poultry industry. We've had prices of egg increase from like 12 cedis. In some areas I hear selling for like 60 cedis a crate, right?
Yeah.
Simply because we are not getting enough corn that at a very affordable price that can directly also impact how much the egg is going to go for. And so at the end of the day, we decided that we're going to focus on the poultry industry. Right, we grow corn mainly on a commercial scale for that. We do chili pepper as well for export.
Okay.
And we also do soya bean as well. Until recent times, we are looking into going to sorghum, right? Partnering with some companies to offtake that. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's some good stuff you people are
we
doing
are
there.
trying.
I mean, and then in terms of sustainability,
Yes.
how are you guys contributing to sustainability? Because we need to, I mean, sustainability is when we are making things for ourselves. Like, I mean, in every sphere, we are making things for ourselves, and then we are conscious that it will not endanger
Yes.
the next generation.
Precisely.
So we know that when you people are farming or when farmers are trying to grow crops, there are a lot of involvement of chemicals, fertilizers, I mean, application of all that.
Yeah.
Are they healthy for us to eat? Because sometimes you go to the market and then you look at the tomato and then you know that this tomato was not due.
Yeah.
But then it is on the market.
Yeah.
Right now it's mango season.
Yeah.
And then if you should walk to the market right now, you will see that some were not ready. So in terms of sustainability, how are you guys also contributing to us?
Yeah, so it's something that we are looking at, and the interesting thing is Cornfields, it's a very youthful company. We have all classes of people in there. It's basically youth. We have people with, master's degrees, people with basically no education at all, working there. We try to encourage people to be innovative, and we've already started having discussions with teams in the universities to start looking at things that we can do to be sustainable, in terms of even a seed that we use. Is it possible to promote locally? Propagated seeds. We are looking into producing fertilizers, organic fertilizers, testing it on our farms to see how it goes and all that. But yes, indeed, the chemicals that we use definitely has some level of impact on our health and all that. And so for us, everything we do is quite calculated and scientific, because I think the issue we usually see with most of the local farmers is that they apply some of these chemicals in excess. But you have to understand how the dosage and the application rates and all that work. So there's a whole lot of science behind it. You can eat bread, right, and it doesn't harm you. But if you take it in excess, you understand.
You why do you want to make food?
There's a lot of science in there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, a lot of technicality.
Seedlings, you have to even check for the rain, when it is going to rain, the weather, and everything.
And then we use a lot of satellites. We do a lot of monitoring on our fields. Myself, I mentioned I was a climate physicist. So we do a lot of climate modeling to understand the right time to even, start operations, prepare lands and all that. So it involves a lot. Yeah, it's not just weeding with the hoe. It involves a lot.
So you mentioned you studied
climate physics.
Climate physics, right? But in school, was it? Yeah, you already mentioned that you started like planning for farming when the pandemic hit.
Yes.
But then, if the farming hadn't crossed the way, or the idea hadn't come, what were you looking forward to?
When I did Japan.
Hey, Japan.
It was actually part of my plans to probably right after school leave the country or anything, because most young people like myself, are faced with the same dilemma. But I realized that there's an opportunity here. Africa is literally green, and it's tough here. I won't lie to you.
So we shouldn't go and look for greener pastures outside.
Say that the grass is green where you water it. So.
Where you water it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
the grass is always green wherever you water it.
Precisely. Yeah. So we decided to stay. We saw the opportunity here. It was tough from the onset, but it's looking nice.
So right now, if you get Jackpa, you won't.
Ghana the bio.
Hey. The Ghana is in two. It's in two phases. Like, some people are really enjoying it, and some of us too, we are also following.
So not necessarily about enjoyment, but it's about the opportunities that are here, the skill at which you can actually blow up if you want to. We see this agric thing happen massively in East Africa. Kenya, Tanzania, and the other places. We have the young people leading the charge.
I think one time I even saw this video. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't verify properly because I just watched the video and I brushed it off. Where one of these African countries, they've planted apple. These apples
Right.
that we buy on the market,
Right.
and then they were actually growing.
Yeah.
But then growing up, I don't know if it was a rumor, and then if it's still true. I heard you can't grow apple here in African soil, but then people have done it.
Yeah. So right now there's a lot of science. I mean, it's all about the local climate of the crop, the conditions under which is grown. So we see a lot of greenhouses being put up. People are producing strawberry here, right? Ideally, you can do that. So there's a lot to learn and a lot to do. Yeah.
People keep talking about opportunities, grab opportunities, but then we don't see the opportunities.
The opportunities there. So
we don't see them because sometimes it depends on your connections. Because I feel like there are a lot of infrastructures here in our country, but then if you don't have the right connection or the right resources to reach them, you'll never see those opportunities. Because if some of our parents, like they are hard workers,
Yes.
right? I believe you don't go to their farm and then do the sowing yourselves. But then some of our fathers, they just go to the farm single-handedly.
Yes.
They will just plant all the corn throughout, like maybe 3 acres of land.
Yes.
And then they'll take care of everything. But then you people, you are involved with like a lot of machinery that helps
true.
you. So the opportunities, no. Yeah, maybe.
So opportunities are basically you identifying problems within your society. Recently, I saw a video of a young guy that they literally just go to gutters that have been stagnated with refuse. They pick them up and they've processed it into plastic chairs and all that. I think when you look around you and identify the problems within your environment or your neighborhood and you try to solve it, people would say that, money is an issue. Yes, indeed, you need money to be able to pull it. But sometimes money comes close to you when you are a solution bearer, right? You need people to walk you into some rooms. That's very true. But what have you done that would let someone lead you into that room? So I believe that you have to start. Currently we are doing massive things, but that's not how it started. You go to financial institutions trying to raise money and they wouldn't even look at you, right? But we needed to start from somewhere. We had to build a track record, which wasn't easy. I remember there were times
when you mentioned financial institutions, I just thought of the bank. Those people over there. I mean, I don't have any problem with them, but then the fact that one time I went to the bank to withdraw my money, cash. Cash, oh. Do you know the cash, the amount of money I had in my account? And then I go there and they tell me their e-switch isn't working. I sat there for 30 minutes. National Service Allowance. First time it was coming. And then so financial institutions, they're me than them. The CI.
No, they can help. So you should understand that it's a system they are running and there are things that they are looking out for. And so, for instance, if you go to a bank and tell them, listen, I'm starting a farm. I need 50,000 Ghana cedis. They won't even look at you. They won't look at you simply because there's risk all over you, right? You have no record, no proof of concept. There isn't any cash flow. And so, for instance, if I should have a bank account and I'm running my business for, let's say, about the past 6 months, and I always have some 10,000 cedis coming in. Now, the bank understands my cash flow, that on an average, I have 10,000 cedis coming in. If I should go to the bank and tell them that I need a facility of, say, 100,000, they would give it to me because they've seen how my cash flow works. A problem I've seen with most young entrepreneurs is that we don't understand our financial systems and we don't know how to take advantage of them. If you understand them, you wouldn't be keeping your money in cash or on your Momo, right? You open a bank account as a business and start running it. Once the bank sees cash flow, 10,000 coming in every month. If you go to the bank and tell them 100,000, they calculate and know that if 10,000 is coming in every month, it means that annually you have some 120,000 coming in. So if I should want to give you a loan, you have the capacity to pay back. They are also a business, and they are looking at how to manage their risk.
Exactly.
And so you as a businessman I think it's something that young people, it's not just about young people in agric, but young people in business in general, to understand how our financial systems work.
Because me, if I have money, I'll just go and invest in the bank. That was the mentality then.
Yeah.
But then now that I have, come into contact with certain knowledge,
Yes.
I don't want to save at the bank.
Yeah.
I would want my money to work for me, maybe invest into something that is like lucrative.
Yeah.
So, as an agricultural company, let's say me, I have like plenty money. Oh, I have money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have plenty money, and then I want to invest in your company.
Right.
Yeah, do you guys do that?
So we do partnerships. So because we are an agri company, and the scale at which we are producing, we are able to leverage on so many things. It helps us to be able to cut down costs and all that. If you want to start a farm, say you want to do 10 acres, you may not be able to probably have the time. Maybe you are within a corporate space, so you wouldn't be able to be on the farm working yourself. You will be checking from time to time, but you can't be there all the time. The second thing too is that you may not have the technical know-how to be able to do it. And you can't also afford to hire a specialist who charge you like, let's say, 7,000 to 10,000 cedis a month, right? In order to do it for you. But because we are doing a large acreage, when we bring such people in, the company is able to absorb it. And so what we do is that we are able to partner young people. So we have a program called GISA, Graduating Sustainable Agriculture.
Wow.
Where we partner with young people between the ages of 18 to 35, right? If you want to farm, we can give you access to our land, right? You get access to the machines that we are using. We are able to support you sometimes with input credit, right? We help you with market as well. Because of our size, we have access to large markets and all that. And those are people who want to actually do the farming themselves. Others who may not be able to do the farming themselves, we are able to have a conversation with them, and we will do it on your behalf, more or less like contract farming for you as well. So it's a way of investing, but you own the farm. It's not that you're giving us money to give you some returns on it. It is your farm you're going to do. You come, we allocate a place for you, and we can charge a fee, right, to cultivate the field.
So that would be consultation.
Yeah, we do consultation.
Consultation fee,
small one, look at you.
So right now, everywhere consultation deal.
Oh, but if you're young, we might.
So
do
this is like free consultation.
Yeah.
If you want to start agriculture, I mean, this thing. So, I think is there anything you'd want to add to bank of knowledge that you've poured on us today? Because right now I'm inspired. If I leave here, I'm going to start farming. I'm going to start farming because Charlie, there is plenty money there.
There's money in there. There is risk there. It's the only business that you can enter and leave with millions, or leave with nothing. It's so risky, especially if you are doing climate dependent farming. Okay. I would say that if you want to go into agric, I think it's the best thing to do now. I feel like corporate spaces are choked up, right? If young people want to wear collar and all that, yeah, it's nice to do that. When I started, Charlie, muddy hands and all that, but gradually we are getting there. You have to start from a place. I'll just encourage that if you want to go into it, find someone who's already doing it. Have a conversation with the person so you don't repeat the mistakes that they did, right? And learn as much as possible. I think there are people still around there that are willing to open up. Myself, if you should get in touch, we can have a conversation and help you on your journey if you want to go into agric.
So you can give us your contacts. We would want to contact you.
Oh, yes. So
you're also on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Somebody made a comment that this is the third time. So this will be the fourth or fifth time we are mentioning LinkedIn. I mean, right now, that's how people get in touch with people.
Yes.
So
So you can search me on LinkedIn, Emmanuel Asare Tieku. Same on Instagram, Emmanuel Asare Tieku. You can check our YouTube channel as well to see what's happening there, Cornfields Green Ghana Limited. Okay. To see the projects we are doing, the lives that we are changing. And we are hoping that more of you join us. And
I'm joining you from here, from here. I've stopped podcasting. I'm now come and take your show. So that will be the end of today's episode, this week's episode. Thank you for tuning in, and we want to thank you, Mr. Asare, for joining us, because this is a whole lot of things that I personally didn't know, because Me will be catching so yeah, for I mean, so sorry, no, I can't but then you've given us a lot of insight into how agriculture works.
Yeah, sure.
So support farmers, invest in farmers because food will never disappoint you,
True.
right? Because one thing that doesn't go out of style is one, food, fashion.
Yeah.
So thank you for tuning in. Whatever you are doing this week, whatever you are trying to wrap your head around, whatever you want to invest in farming, and then take life slow. God will work it out for you. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and then follow us on all social media platforms at takeamso_pod. Right now, amazingly, we are on Apple Podcasts and then Google Podcasts. So tune in.
Yeah.
We love you. Bye.
Yeah.